the blinds up a bit.
I think we're good.
Right.
Boom! It's the Sebs Show, everybody. Welcome back to the Sebs Show. It's been a few weeks. Breaking down UFC 224 with my boy Gib
What's going on,
there.
guys?
Lots to talk about on this upcoming week. I don't have my phone right beside me, so I don't know the order we're starting it from the top of my head. It's Marcus Perez versus James Volkanovich or whatever his name is. But let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. First up, we got Marcus Perez, James Bogdanovich. How do you see this one playing out, Gib? Because from what I know, is James works with Big Ben Rothwell. He's got some decent Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Recently
real big fighter, by the way.
Yeah, especially for the middleweight. He used to fight at light heavy. Especially him, how he used to fight at light heavyweight, and the fact that Marcus Perez can probably fight at welterweight. That's a little bit of a problem, but I see Marcus Perez getting him down here rather quickly and maybe catching a sub. I didn't play the number. I thought it was a little bit too high. It's at 265 right now, minus 265, which is rather high. When I could have got it, it was at minus 199, which was decent. At minus 199, it was still a good price, but was hoping for something a little bit better. But whatever. Bogdanovich just got knocked out by Trevin Giles not too long ago.
I thought he got controlled in that fight a little bit too easy.
Yeah, I believe so as well. What else do you think?
He was real big in that fight, and he was landing kicks early. But once the wrestling happened, it didn't look good for him. And Marcus Perez can slap on a submission just as quick. And if that's all James is kind of hoping is going to happen, I don't know. It can get ugly for him real quick because Perez is really fast, and he's really good at getting back to basic wrestling and takedowns. So it is a pretty close fight. I can actually see Marcus winning this.
Yeah, I'm going with Marcus Perez as well. No bet, but I do like Marcus Perez in this.
Eric Anders was a tough fight for him.
Yeah, I believe so. Eric Anders is a tough fight. If you watch his jungle fights or his LFA fight where he just submits, I think it's Ian Heineck or whatever his name is.
He did that in submission trouble too.
Yeah, pretty quickly. He's got a crazy style. That's why they call him Maluko. Man, I like him in this spot. Not enough to lay down the price. Shout out to everybody who laid the units down on him, but I'm gonna have to stay away for this one. But yeah, I got Marcus Perez as well.
Yeah.
Next up is see if I'm going in the correct order, Dip, because I don't have.
You have Alberto Mina and
Ramazan
next. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So cool. We have Ramazan Ameev coming off that win of Sam Alvey at 185. This is actually at 170 pounds. It's going to be Ramazan Ameev's first time ever at 170 pounds, I believe. So that's interesting to see how he cuts down to there. He's not a big middleweight, so I think he fits more into the 170-pound division anyway. Very good with the clinch against the cage. Very good in the clinch in general. Decent striking. Good takedowns. Good heavy top game. He's one of those Russians that just have that complete grappling game. And against Alberto Mina, who has probably a little bit of cardio issues. Hits super hard though. He can knock the lights out of anybody pretty much, man.
He's a soldier of God.
Yeah, well, he stole that nickname. I don't know if he was the first one. I
think there's going to be a few. They were always going to have it. So, soldiers of God.
Yeah. But I'm gonna go with Ramazan Ameev actually.
Really?
Yeah, I think he gets the job done. I think he controls the fight with some takedowns and gets the job done. No play on this as well. It's minus 187, I believe, on Pinnacle right now. But yeah, still another good play. I Well, we'll see if it's a good play, but I'm passing on this one as well.
Yeah.
How about you, Gib?
I think Alberto Mino has it because of the fact that he has those hands that can crack, and he's got 6 subs under his belt as well as 6 KOs. The flying knee was super impressive. I thought he got that off really nice. And flying knees are real difficult to do because early rounds, especially, people are staying so far away from you. And as the fight goes on longer and longer, people are just going to be a lot more scarce and cautious. And Mina is one of those guys who can really lay it on, like a Uriah Hall. He has the timing for it. Amir, if you're a fan of his M1 competitor days, I mean, this guy's a freak. He grapples guys and puts them in real tough nights, and it's nightmares for him. So that could definitely happen, especially on a guy who doesn't land his KO punches early. But I think that Amir is also in a lot of spaces where he can be hit by someone who's effective. So I can see him walking into a big punch or something that Mina has for him. So I got Alberto Mina in this.
Yeah. I can see Mina landing a big shot as well, man, but fucking that's why I probably didn't play it. What's next up on the card?
Next is Jack Hermansson and Sebs Leites.
Oh, good fight. Jack Hermansson. Leaning Jack Hermansson here, and I see people max betting Jack Hermansson. My boy Kelton has a max bet on Jack Hermansson.
That's a good move.
Who else? Newsom has a few units on Jack Hermansson. This is a good fight for Jack Hermansson. If he stops the takedowns, Sebs Leites looks like he might be on his way out, and Jack Hermansson could be the guy to send him packing. But other than that, if Sebs Leites does get this to the ground, he's very strong to the ground. This was a fight I was gonna actually tape study maybe tonight. Again, I was gonna retape study it just to see if I saw any value again in Jack Hermansson because it's still at minus 147 only.
Yeah.
And with that, I don't know. There's some value up on the board, I think, but I think I passed for a reason on the first time, and
Okay.
yeah, like I can see like his path to victory is much more clear than Sebs Leites, but I'm still probably gonna pass just in case Sebs Leites gets that takedown, smothers him.
They're still close in size if you think about it. There's not like a big size difference or anything like that, and I don't know. I think Hermansson has a big KO power, right? I mean, you don't just get 2 knockouts in a row in the first round.
Yeah, no, he definitely has a lot of KO power.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about the fight?
Well, I'm thinking about actually putting it on Jack Hermansson because I mean he's coming back after a KO loss, but it's over Thiago Santos. Not a bad one to get a big loss over, especially. I mean, his Bradley Scott knockout and Alex Nicholson was big, and he does seem to lose to submissions, which I can actually see Leites putting on. He has more submissions than he actually does KOs, and he got some pretty impressive rear naked chokes over Chris Camozzi and Tim Bosch as well. So I can see where he can screw up, but I think this is a Jack Hermansson shot, and they know that if he stands with him for too long, Jack can land that big shot, and he's got some big KO power in there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that as well, man. I think Jack could land a rather big shot and put him away as well. This might be Sebs Leites' last fight, so who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got Jack Hermansson in this one. All right, next up we got. I need to check this one because I got a bet down on the next fight here. We got Warlley Alves versus Sultan Aliyev.
That's it.
And I got 3 units on Warlley Alves at minus 209 to win. I don't know, one something obviously to win like 1.4. So win something obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got him at 3 units at minus 209. Um, I think Worley Alves is the much more cleaner striker here. I think it's his fight to lose. He's a great grappler. The kid's got a ridiculous guillotine.
Mm-hmm.
Legit one of the best guillotines I've ever seen. Puts that clamp on you as you saw on Colby Covington. Colby Covington's only loss is Worley Alves. You saw that fucking guillotine get clamped on, and he went to
Shit,
work.
yeah.
That he does tend to struggle against guys like Kamaru Usman, who bring a lot of pressure to him or whatnot. So that a lot of people are probably questioning the pick just because Sultan Aliyev is that kind of like sambo fighter with the takedowns and whatnot. But I think Worley can keep this standing and just outstrike Sultan Aliyev here and just win a decision here. And so I got 3 units on him.
Yeah, I got Alves as well because I like that Kamaru Usman fight. He had him in real big trouble. I slowed that fight down, and when Kamaru dropped, it really did seem like he stopped fighting, like he was out for a good 3 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If the ref didn't book it, or if the ref, it looked like he was fighting, then I guess that's up for him to decide. And it obviously was beneficial to Usman, but it looked real dead for him for a minute. He couldn't fight, and I think the only thing that screwed up is when Alves kind of shrugged his shoulders saying, yo, do you want me to choke him out? I thought that was a bad move. I thought he should have just kept going. You never know, right? I mean, if you think you have him there, you might as well stick with what you're doing.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Sultan Aliyev, we already seen what he can do. He's got real good knees, kicks, flying stuff that he can come out of nowhere. But in his last fight that he got knocked out in, he did land one of those kicks, and that's what put him pretty much redlined in a big left hand by Robertson, correct? And that really toppled him over. And I think that a lot of people saw a big expose on him, especially if he's going to run backwards on you and throw kicks. Especially because Alves is also good at running backwards. During the Kamaru Usman fight, he was able to really bring him into the ropes, bring him into the cage to where he actually tried to set up that submission. So he can trap you. So yeah, I got Alves in that one.
Yeah. Let me just.
Hold up. Some difficulties. All right, you're back.
Yeah, it's minus 209. 3 units, minus 209 to win 1.43 units on Worley Alves there. So I'm pretty confident in Worley Alves. What's the next fight up?
The next fight is Dos Santos versus Sean Strickland.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Zaleski Dos Santos versus Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland, very technical, great jab, very good grappling, comes from Millennia MMA, good background, and what he does, like the guy, he has problems with his activity, in my opinion. At times, you're screaming at the TV. You want him to throw more.
Court McGee fight.
Yeah, that Court McGee fight being one of them. And who is his last fight against?
He also fought Kamaru Usman.
But he fought who last?
McGee, right?
Was it Court McGee that was his last fight?
Was it? Yeah, McGee.
He won that fight, right?
He did. He won that fight. And I'll give it to him.
Yeah, but like
put him through the ringer.
Yeah, but like he didn't win it as comfortably as I thought, and I think I had big money on him as well.
Mhm.
Um, I just wasn't confident in him at all after that. And Zaleski's the kind of guy that's gonna go like if you're putting your money down on Zaleski, he's fighting for your money, man. He's gonna fight for life and death for your money. Yeah, he's no joke.
The first rounds.
Um, he's very dangerous, Zaleski, and he's just got some crazy Muay Thai style that's gonna keep pushing the pressure on you, and he's just gonna eventually try and break you, man. And it's gonna be hard to go against Sean Strickland and try and break him. I think Strickland's boxing is gonna play a big part in this. He's a way better boxer in my opinion. It's a tough fight to call, but I'm gonna go with my boy Zaleski dos Santos to get the win here. How about you?
I got Dos Santos as well. I think he's very interesting in the first round. Seems to be able to control his opponents. Likes to pop his jab, and he keeps his hands slightly low. Draws in a right hand to land his jabs. He can unleash like flurries, like on Max Griffin, even after being knocked down in the first, which I think is very impressive. Anyone can do that. If you can get back up and kind of be right in someone's face and put them on the back foot, that's a huge plus. He likes to spin kick, and he's got a nice wheelhouse of moves that he can kind of go in and out of. His biggest weakness is sometimes he can overcommit and he's a bit reckless. But again, he's fighting for your money out there. He's putting on a lot of skills on display, and he's really throwing it. Sean Strickland, on the other hand, we see him a little bit more calm, and he's able to get to the end of these fights, like with Kamaru Usman and Court McGee. It was a tough fight. He had to really get back on his bike and start to press more, throw his boxing. He's a little more compact of a fighter, so a lot of people's kicks keep his hands exactly here where they need to be, and you can just kind of piece him up. He's not as loose with his combinations, but he's safe. Very, very safe. So, he's definitely going to be super defensive from the get-go. It's if he gets those counters and if he can start applying his own stuff. But I think Luis Santos makes it real difficult for that to happen. And I think he pressed him a lot. I got him for the fight.
Yeah. Just like Zaleski, the way he pushes, I think he just has more activity.
Zaleski, yeah.
Who's next there?
Nick Heen versus Davy Ramos.
Yeah, Nick Hine versus Davy Ramos. Not a bad fight in my opinion. Just gonna run through this one quickly. Davy Ramos last beat Chris Grits, choked him out. Nick Hine. Who did Nick Hine last beat? He hasn't fought in a while. Nick Hine, hasn't he?
Nick Hine fought. Tai Hyun Bang.
Yeah, Tyron
He gets
Bang.
lots of decisions. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, a fight. Yeah, he has lots of decisions. Exactly.
He only loses to decision, guys.
A tough fight to call, man. I'm not gonna break this one down, and this one's just not an attractive fight for me. I don't think too much of it. I think if Nick Hine can get his striking established, he can win. Davy Ramos gets the grappling established, he wins.
Yeah.
But I'll go with Davy Ramos here to get the W.
This is a really good one, actually, because Nick Heen, if you go into his early fights, he had a real good fight against Drew Dauber early, and that was an awesome display because they both pretty much blast each other with combinations, and Nick Heen beats him that night. But his jiu-jitsu is pretty good. His Muay Thai is pretty exceptional. Combines it well, and he's able to get decisions with it. He can kind of avoid a few grappling situations and get to bells. And he's got a good judo background, so he's good at sweeping people when he goes in for takedowns. He's pretty well-rounded, but he just doesn't go to the ground much. Davy Ramos, I mean, that guy is a Tasmanian devil when he grabs your arm and goes for flying shit. He's still, I believe, a competitive grappler. super high level. His fight with Jose Alberto back in Brazil, that was crazy, taking him out in the first round, looping overhand right. Switches stances. He's going to be a lot for Nick Keen to handle at a time. It's going to be a real fast fight. This is a good one to watch. This one's going to be close, but I can see Nick Keen pulling out a decision if Davy Ramos doesn't close the deal early.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely.
He's like a Jakar close, man.
Who?
Keen. He's just like, he doesn't change his game plan, and it gets him to end the fights. You know?
Yeah, kind of like a Jakar close. I see what you mean. But yeah, I got Davy there to win that fight. Next up is who?
Junior Albini and Alexei Olenek.
Oh, big baby.
So we talked about this earlier on in the week. What do you think about Junior Albini right now?
He has a cool diaper.
He's the only one doing it.
Yeah, he's the only one rocking the diaper in the UFC. That's pretty cool. But other than that, man, the guys look sloppy, looks lazy in fights. So does Alexei Olenek, man. Alexei Olenek looks horrible standing up. So this could be fucking. Albini can light him up, but Albini can also fall into the clinch, because I see he clinches a lot. Albini likes to clinch a lot. If he clinches with the bowl constrictor, good luck, man. You're gonna get taken down and you're gonna get subbed. So that's the path to victory for Alexei Olenek there. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take big baby. I'm gonna go take Albini. I think Albini lights him up standing up, possibly knocks him out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a really, really dead fighter at Alexander Olenek a while ago in that Curtis Blades fight. That didn't look safe for him at all. He was pretty much off of his feet, and the damage was just adding up. And Curtis Blades, like, I think he's good, don't get me wrong, but if Olenek was younger, and I mean, like, hell, if you minus 5-7 years, he probably would have handled Blades pretty early. If anything, hell, maybe even 3 years ago, he probably could have handled him. It's just right now, he's really getting up there in age, and I mean, my heart goes out to him that he's still fighting and he's killing it. I actually hope he beats Albini. But, he's very slow. And in order for him to win, the fight has to go extremely slow and pretty much fight on his terms at all times. And we all know fights just aren't going to work that way. Albini, on the other hand, I mean, he came in real strong. He's got, without a doubt, good KO power. He goes for that high crotch that DC really likes to talk about. He mixes in the wrestling with the boxing. But he is a little passive. When he fought Arlovsky, he kind of just let Arlovsky stand and set up things and set up a lot more educated attacks and strikes, and he was pretty much able to beat him up. His arm blocks and the way he measures opponents normally works, but against guys who don't need to measure, against guys who are real big, who are just experienced, they can kind of tool you up. And if he's going to try to do that against the bull constrictor or try to grapple with him, it's going to be a tough night for him. So I actually have Olenek here. I hope he takes this one, but I'm not very. I don't have my heart in this decision. It's just kind of. I hope he doesn't get killed tonight. So see what happens.
All right. Next up is. Who?
Carl Robertson and Cesar Ferreira, the Hulk.
So Mutante,
the Mutant. Mutant.
Mutante versus Carl Robertson here. Carl Robertson, former Glory kickboxer, fought Jerome the Banner. If you didn't know that, now you know. But it's looked great recently. Like, beat the fuck out of Ryan Spann with 14 seconds into the fight, with just dangerous elbows in the clinch, knocks him out, goes on to fight Darren Stewart. puts on a. You can see the way he strikes and everything is just real good within the first few minutes. Goes in, chokes him out, and then this is his next fight after that. So not a lot of tape on Carl Robertson. Why I couldn't lay down a bet on him? Not a lot of tape on him, but fucking, I think he still wins this fight, man. Like Mutante is getting up there, not in age, but like, well, kind of in age too, but in fight years at least, and he's just not looked the same.
No.
And I think he's on his way out as well. And Carl Robertson can send him packing. I think Carl Robertson knocks him out here. We know Mutante has a problem with his chin, and I think it only gets worse from here. So I got Carl Robertson here by
Yep.
knockout, and I wouldn't be mad at anyone taking that minus 140 stab on Carl Robertson, minus 141, whatever it is.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just not doing it. I just didn't see enough tape. After this fight, I'll be sure to bet him if he's still at a bettable, playable range in his next couple fights, and if he has a good matchup. But I need at least one more fight of tape on him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ferreira is southpaw. I think he's pretty well rounded, and winning tough season, makes him very educated and calm-headed at times. I really enjoyed his fight with Nate Marquardt because he was able to withstand his big power for multiple shots, and the rounds that he was finishing didn't look good for him. So he was definitely struggling, but he still ended the fight standing. He can be a little inactive at times, and even pull a little mouthpiece move at the last minute, the last few rounds of fights, or kind of his corner kind of gives him a few seconds. But I'm a real big fast fan of Carl Robertson ever since the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. He got through two opponents, one through a KO and one through a submission. Carl Robertson, he is untested at this point. I mean, we don't know, if he could take on anyone super good. So this is going to be a good test for him. And I really hope he does it. I think he puts a lot of effort into what he does. He wrestles, dirty boxes, always working, always backing people up. I like that in a fighter. He throws body shots. He can sneak him in there. And he's very crafty for submissions. And, he's good at getting the big knockout, entertaining to watch. And I think that, if he really does kill it tonight or on that night, I think they should push him. And from there, get him to fight bigger guys, because I think Carl Robinson's real good and he can show what he could do at the 185 division.
Yeah, I even think that guy is kind of tiny. I think he can make 170.
Yeah, probably.
Unless I'm going crazy, but I think he can make 170.
He's 6'1", so yeah. It wouldn't be too out of it, but
yeah, but I'm also on Carl Robertson. Next fight is what, Gib?
I think it's Machida and Vitor.
What? Yeah. It's already the main card?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah. After Carl Robertson and Ferreira.
Okay, so it's we're entering the main card here, and it's Lyoto Machida, who I have 3 units on at minus 232.
I'd put it on Lyoto.
To win 1.29 units. I'm just super confident in this guy, man. I think Lyoto's gonna kill it. I think the battle of the two old vets here. I think Lyoto has the timing, the cardio, the more in the tank. He's got the crisper combinations. Vitor only sets up for one shot at a time, and Lyoto likes to go in, counter.
Very defensive.
Very, very, very defensive. Barely gets hit. Well, recently he's been getting hit, but barely. Before he would barely get hit, man, and fucking. I just think he has more in the tank at this point. I think he's a better fighter. Vitor, this might be his last fight, guys. This might be Vitor's last fight, especially Machida knocks him out or TKOs him or something. This might be Vitor's last fight. So look for that. But I'm all over Machida. I think he's gonna utilize distance and his range, and just utilize his kicks very well and get those going and get the win via decision here. I think he might be able to get a TKO late, but I think he gets past that first round and just maintains distance and like uh, lulls fucking Jiro into that pace that Lyoto goes at, and fucking I think Mochida ends up like striking him pretty hard a few times, laying him on his ass maybe, and but eventually winning it in decision. I think
him with
so.
a Karate Kid.
Yeah, well, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, looking at both of their last fights, I like Lyoto's a little bit better. He was able to get a split decision against a young fighter who was on a winning streak, and he couldn't deny that. So took that fight and did pretty well with it. Obviously, Derek Brunson and Yoel are high level, tons of weapons, and are able to counter Lyoto's any sort of defense, and isn't really able to continue his offensive strategy for long rounds against them.
He tagged Brunson pretty hard in that fight too, if you watch it.
He did, yeah. And I guess Brunson walks through a lot of damage to get to his one big shot. So yeah, but Vitor, he's relying on a lot of just experience by now. He's not on anything, at least that we know of. But I think it's kind of running out for him. Lyoto's probably got more in the tank, so yeah. I think he sets up a nice kick to the body or something and crumbles him from there.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I'd like to see one of those.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Nice liver kick. But yeah, I got Lyoto all day. Next up is who? Mackenzie Dern?
Yes. It's oh, actually, no, sorry. It's John Lineker and Brian Kelleher.
Oh, Lineker and Brian Kelleher. Okay. Yeah. So this is my max bet of the night.
Okay.
I got 5 units on John Lineker at minus 205 to win. Let me go check. This bet is down to win 2.43 units.
Okay.
Minus 205. Lineker's the way better fighter here, guys. The pressure he's gonna put on Brian Kelleher is gonna be outstanding, and like the way Kelleher likes to fight is inside the pocket. Inside the pocket's not going to work against John Lineker here, guys. John Lineker's, the way he fights inside the pocket is dangerous as fuck. Like, he's going to be swinging bombs inside the pocket. He's got a titanium chin, I'm pretty sure now, since his surgery. So, like...
See a Dillashaw fight?
Oh, yeah.
He roughed it out, man. He did real well.
And he's no joke, man. He's just like he's gonna keep coming at you, and he's gonna eventually break you. And I think he breaks Brian Kelleher here with shots. I think he eventually gets a stoppage 8 of the rounds. But man, the way he's gonna be able to pressure forward and just go at Brian Kelleher and just work him, man. He's just gonna be able to, I think, outwork Brian Kelleher and push him backwards and land the more strikes and outstrike him and land the more strikes and outstrike him. That's the same thing. Well, but yeah, I think he's gonna look good here, guys. I think this is John Lineker's fight to lose, and I think he looks great here. How would you get?
Yeah, I got Lineker. Another guy who I believe is not the only hands of stone in the UFC. I think a few people have that name. But again, both decisions and submissions, KOs. He has got a amazing fight record, not to be slept on. In that TJ Dillashaw fight, I was really impressed how he was able to take one of TJ Dillashaw's head kicks, and that's like a trademark kick of his that he does to everybody, and was able to grab it and turn it into a takedown. And TJ had to really kick the pace up for him to get out of that, and it could have been real ugly. He's able to take what his opponents do and work it against them in any way. It's if their opponent can adjust and work off of it, that's up to them. And Brian Kelleher, great. He's still a good fighter himself. Losing against Marlon Vera, I thought it was only losing to Marlon Vera, but submitting a guy like Alcantara, I thought was a pretty good feat that he proved. He was able to handle
beat on the feet.
Yeah. He was able to handle himself in a losing situation, and I think that's really important.
You just caught him in a guillotine.
Especially when you fight a guy like Lineker, who's going to be cracking you with those shots all day.
Lineker's not going for any takedowns.
Yeah, but he still cracks and he still comes in with lots of punches. He has really good boxing, actually.
Yeah, but how are you gonna pull off a submission like that?
He's got a good left hook. He does keep the leg kicks, and he goes for the inside. He tries to force people to work with the pressure and counter pressure. So he did take a seat in the first round. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I got Lineker on this one.
Yeah, I got Lineker all day. Hopefully beats Brian Kelleher's ass. And you kept calling him Lineker. I know the fans are going to be pissed. His name's Lineker.
Oops.
Next up is who?
It's Amanda Cooper and Mackenzie Dern.
Oh, not spending any time on this. Mackenzie Dern looks like garbage her first time out. Striking looks horrible. Not only did the striking look bad, but her takedowns didn't look that good. The grapple on the floor looked good, obviously, and but she just pretty much controlled her up against the cage for most of the fight. Amanda Cooper's just horrible on the ground. So I see if this goes to the ground, she's going to submit it pretty quickly. But yeah, I can't lay the money on Mackenzie Dern. I just can't. After her first performance, I got to see some major improvements from that girl before I lay down the money.
Yeah, Cooper could probably crack her a few times.
Yeah, there's a definite chance of that. What do you see?
Yeah, I can see Mackenzie Dern getting her to the floor because she's been hit in the face on the way in a few times, so she's been able to handle it. It didn't look very good, but obviously she's working on that. I heard that she just left the MMA lab. Not sure if
yeah, I heard that too.
I think she's jumped on another camp though, so she's just focusing on jiu-jitsu, which is her bread and butter, which I think wins her this fight on a good day, to be honest with you. If Cooper goes down and she can get submitted and she loses by submission, I think most of her losses. Oh yeah, all three of her losses are by submission. So it's there. So this is a setup for her. But I mean, Cooper cracks, and she can throw people out of fights just with one or two punches, and they kind of rethink their game plan. So I mean, if you have that in the bag, you can ride out a few good rounds and get a decision off of Mackenzie Dern, who's still kind of new.
Yeah.
I say Mackenzie Dern gets it done with submission or something.
Yeah, I think Mackenzie Dern gets it done as well.
She's tough enough. Yeah. And what do you think for Calvin Gastelum and Jacare?
So that's next for us. We got Jacare and Calvin Gastelum. And I got 2.5 units on Jacare Souza at minus 124.
Yep.
To win 2.01 units. I hit this line pretty quick at minus 124. It's at minus 145 right now, minus 150 in some places. It's getting up there, and for a good reason, man. We saw already the blueprint of what's going to happen to Calvin Gastelum when he finishes as a bigger, better grappler. We've already seen what happens to him, and in the Chris Weidman fight, yeah, he's got quick hands. He's a great boxer. He can put you on your fucking ass real quick. He can put you on your ass. But Jacare Souza, who I think actually has a better chin than the people give him credit for, was not knocked out by any means. Still got up after the Robert Whittaker scrap, and people are comparing this fight a lot to the Robert Whittaker fight, saying that it's going to go along the same way. Calvin Gastelum does not have the takedown defense that Robert Whittaker has. Calvin Gastelum does not even have the boxing that Robert Whittaker has. It's his boxing is good, but it's not Robert Whittaker's level of striking. His just the use of feints and everything that he uses. He's got a great pull counter and a great slip that he uses very well. But other than that, I wouldn't say Calvin Gastelum's an elite boxer. He's got some quick and if this gets into grappling exchanges, which I think it's going to most certainly get into grappling exchanges, what's going to happen is Jacare is going to put his fucking hands, his crocodile fucking hands on, or his alligator hands on Calvin Gastelum. He's going to sink him into deep waters. He's going to drown him. He's going to drown him in deep waters in the swamp. You don't come play with the alligator. You're not the crocodile hunter. I think Jacare stands for alligator, not crocodile. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, man, I'm all over Jacare.
Oh yeah.
I think he gets the job done. I think he's too big for Calvin Gastelum, man. He's still got the striking to hold himself together. I think he gets the job done and submits Calvin Gastelum here.
Well, like you were saying, I think Calvin Gastelum has the speed. He's got quick hands, and he can really disrupt a lot of people's combos when he wants to. And he's got real quick wrestling. Again, he can go and grab the single leg when he wants to, get people to the fence. But Jacare is one of those guys who can kind of work around that. And if you do try to do it, he's probably quick enough to catch you and strong enough to keep you back from putting in that extra effort. You actually have to back up now. Jacare hits hard as Calvin Gastelum, I would say. He might not be as fast off the jump as Calvin Gastelum. I can see him getting hit a few times, but this is a guy who lost to Gegard Mousasi and then got a rematch with him later and was able to beat him and actually submit him. So, again, he's put out a lot of big feats. I think he went like, what, 8 or 7 fights, almost undefeated. And then he lost to Yoel Romero in a split and then wins his next 2. So, I think Jacare definitely could have had the belt or at least a shot at it a few times with his track record. And, I hope this guy beats Calvin Gastelum and goes right into the belt chance. But, I mean, Calvin obviously isn't going to give this one away. He's going to swing for the fences when it counts, and he can crack. And if it happens fast enough, he could ruin the night. But I do think Jacare beats him in all other areas, whether it's decision, submission, a knockout. It's just there's an unexpected kind of factor that maybe Calvin Gastelum might sneak one in. But on all of the fronts, I think Souza takes it.
I just saw a funny fucking tweet.
What's that?
Just my boys fucking MMA trader and Levi MMA on Twitter put up. I don't know if you can see that. It's Blagoy Ivanov.
Yeah.
There you go. and it's his face and it says when the USADA van pulls up, and then it says
Oh yeah.
when the Burger King van pulls up. It's fucking dope.
That's jokes.
But yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. Jacques, let's fucking get it.
For the main.
Main event, man. Amanda Nunes versus Raquel Pennington. And not much to break down here. I think Amanda Nunes is going to get this win. I think she's going to get it rather easily if she doesn't gas.
Yeah.
And she puts the pressure on Raquel Pennington and she outstrikes her like she should. She's the better striker. It's in Brazil. You're the better striker. You got great wrestling. You should be able to do what you want with Raquel Pennington. If Raquel Pennington is able to see her start gassing and then hit her spot, then Raquel Pennington actually pull off this upset. But other than that, I got Amanda Nunes all day here, warranted at -8 fucking hundred or whatever she's at.
You know what? I see what you mean. I got Amanda Nunes too. I think she's one of those girls who comes out screaming, big jabs, big energy in the early rounds, and if you don't survive those bursts, you're gonna be scared of her the entire fight, and just it's gonna go her way. She's kind of able to bully people and get what she wants. She's definitely fighting for a great record potentially. She has an interesting step when she takes damage. She kind of takes like a weird back step, but then steps right back in. So you can never really leave her alone because she'll take the hit and, give you a step jab or hit to the body or something. I'm not surprised many people have jumped on her after moments like that, but it's clearly just the intimidation that she brings to the octagon, like from round one. Raquel's super tough. She stands with a lot of girls who have KO potential. I was a big fan of her Leslie Smith fight. Leslie Smith didn't give an inch, and she beat her up. But Raquel had a lot of early advantages on the grappling and on the wrestling and the stand-up. But again, Nunes is good at that too, so kind of trumps it. But Pennington does throw a pretty good right hook. She's got good elbows, and she combines it with like a underhook. So she'll do underhook, left hook, or underhook, right elbow. It's pretty nice. She does it on the fence a lot, but it's a matter of how many of those you can get away with until Nunes just starts to open up on you and throw big combinations. Raquel's a fighter, so I think she could actually go rounds with Nunes. But yeah, it's rough because I don't think she outclassed her in stand-up, but her wrestling and grappling might be able to kind of hold her off to like the very end. I say she loses a really tough decision and maybe arguably wins one, possibly 2 rounds, but I guess you're going to the end of the fight and just kind of getting beaten up by Nunes.
Yeah, I see pretty much the same thing happening, man.
I feel like she has enough, enough energy to defend herself and maybe even make it a competitive fight, but not enough for it to give her any sort of like 3 round,
Okay. Leave in the comments below, guys, who you like for this weekend. Who you guys think I should check out more on tape study? If you think I missed a bet, if I'm passing up a really good opportunity that you think, give me a shout. Shout out to all the fans that watch the Sebs show. Shout out to everybody in the Poops truck right now watching this right now. My boy Patch, Dre's,
all right,
Little Patch, Eric, Sotomayor, not Eric, his name's Sota fucking Mayor, and Big Sebs. Big Sebs, this is for you, Big Sebs. Hit a Poops right now. You deserve a Poops. Other than that, man, have a great weekend, guys. Fuck it, let's cash these motherfucking bets.
Have a good weekend. Let's cash the bets. Have a good one, guys.